we got a fresh $10,000 account here, and I'm running mini lots, point 0.10s. So I took everything I wrote this weekend and I put it in here, which is quite an array of different scripts. Although I'm only running one script today on all of these pairs, so I've kind of duplicated it here. The thing is, I'm running the 8 pip trailing stop. So this is pretty much a scalper's configuration. Looking at the this is the so I'm going to put this in the video. This is the exact script I'm running. Is a 12 pip stop, 12 pip stop initially to make 32 pips. If it just the market should get long for some reason, and I really know the criteria, and I really don't want to know the criteria in a way, because I know that it has to do something with volatility. So I figure this way: if I'm scalping, if I'm watching, if I'm babysitting the robot, which is, instead of babysitting the market, you got to babysit the robot, which is fine because he's going to pull the trigger for no apparent reason, and you're going to be like, oh, that's great, you happen to kill somebody. And the thing is, get comfortable with somebody else pulling the trigger for you, I guess would be the trick. If you know that it can't blow itself up, if there's only one script running and it has X stop, and it looks to me like after it cashes out, it's going to get back in. It's not going to try to overtrade, what I've been watching. And I've been scalping because I woke up this morning and the damn thing was right about a trade. And I thought, wow, I fucking goddamn robots got it right, But does it have it right, or did it just get in the market and it just happens to be up, right? So the robot's got this amazing ability to have beginner's luck, because I'm also going to try to build a trend bot, but I'm actually going to build it in a counter trend entry. So I was experimenting with counter trend. Take any typical robot and just invert the parameters. Take your slow moving average and make it fast. So just going to trade backwards, and it does way better than the classical trend bot. Maybe I'm well, I think as far as putting a tight ratio on a counter trend bot can make really decent money equity spikes. You're going to see equity spikes. You're not going to see this like this system here. This breakout system is really a turtle trading system. It's always been known to make money because it just keeps on following the same. It just goes with the flow. It just don't care. So it's very like redneck trading makes money. It kind of reminds me of these big trucks that people drive that just handle like shit. And then other guys spent like $1 million on his Lamborghini, which is supposedly tractor gear. So it's a funny world. So I'm scalping out of this stuff. Like when I see him up on a trade, I'm just getting out. I mean, if I'm in scalp mode. So right now, now if you change the time frame, it's going to kind of activate this robot's going to look at the ATR as it comes at him, and it's going to try to do math on it. I don't know the math that's going on there, but if you change time frames, or you get out of a winner, as soon as you get out of a winner, I notice it starts to maybe it just happens to be the way it's going right now, because this is my first week trading with EAs, so I can't really say what's going to happen. And certainly here comes the Bob of the Hour. We could get a frantic thing. Of course, the robot's going to look at the ATRs based on that 15-minute, which is nice. So when you see all these moves in the market, just manage the risk, right? Just tight stops. I mean, backtesting all this stuff. This may seem like a good trade to put in a 50 pip to make 100. This is only when the news comes out. This is going to just get continually filled, and you're going to get just completely getting smashed with a 50 pip stop, possibly, depending which currency pair. So this one right here, this is ATR of 1. It has a ATR increase, which seems to be the amount of fluctuation of ATR, up or down. and increase, decrease. Like ATR goes up, it starts to jump on. Maybe it's waiting for a magnitude of 2, you could set it. I don't even know what the fuck these numbers go to. And it doesn't matter, because if I knew, I would think, oh, I know better than a robot, and I'd start to fucking... Now, another thing you could do is you could, if you are chronically bearish or bullish, you could set the robot to trade in one direction against you. So you could trade against the robot and be like, oh, really? Oh, really? And just, you actually have the robot take the other opinion, So like when you go to court for killing your girlfriend, they do that thing where they go, well, imagine we're the, and they sit there and they punish you and they say, so you're this, you're that. Oh, I just noticed, I don't know if this is the platform time here or whatever. I guess you want to keep track of this stuff. Is that right? 23 now? Yeah, I don't even know, because I thought 0 was the last, 0 was the dotted line on the chart. So maybe I've even got the time set wrong on these scripts. Who knows? Who cares? Yeah, apparently this is platform time. I don't know. I screwed that up. But it's funny because I picked some bizarre range, and the fact that the robot only traded for 8 hours, it seemed to make more money. So you can go in here. These are all set to trade 20 hours. And I don't even know that hole in the... Look at the times here. 10. So 10 hours market's been open. That makes more sense. I don't know where it's getting this from. This is some new demo from another place in time. So maybe you have to change the the time. And I think it goes 0 to 24 if you want. These aren't, not every broker will take the order, but it's okay. I don't think this, it's not like a script. If it gets rejected, it just goes away, bye-bye. But here is the, today's format, is the 12 stop to make the 32 if we get that blast. If not, it's going to trail it with 8, and it makes decent money. It's got an 8 pip trailing stop. This is the delta, which you want that as tight as you can, I suppose. If you're a scalper, you just want to get it in at the market, and if your broker lets you trade inside the spread, then you're going to get, if the market just vibrates in there, you're going to get filled somehow. But you're saying, I want to get in the apex, and then I'm going to bail out here or bail out there. That's as simple as that. It's always going on. I'm just sitting here looking at, I'm just getting out, I'm just taking money off the table continuously, because this thing, it's saving me pulling the trigger. And the whole idea is this, people with the robots, they're like, oh, well, I got to make sure that robot back tests. I'm like, I don't know. Just get me in. I can find the exit door. Like, just get me into the party. I know when the party's over. Just get me in the fucking door, right? But I guess that's not how you're supposed to approach trading. You're supposed to be more serious, I suppose. Okay, this thing is not making any money right now. But I'm just going to go now. I am going to change the time frames here, so I don't have any duplication. I've got 2 pounds going. Now it does perform better on, even this tight scalp script does better on the 4-hour chart. It really does, amazingly. And so I'm going to go for the higher time frames on this demo. So if not going to babysit it, if you move the trigger up to, the only ones that back tested well were the euro and the pound. The yen, sometimes. Australia, never. I mean, Australia just trades like shit, because, and so does New Zealand, because from a breakout standpoint, the way this thing is getting in, it's not that the other way of getting in is any better. And maybe if you want to trade more yen, you would take this down to the 1 minute. Like if you're in scalping mode, you put this on 1 minute, I got to believe it's going to just start going nuts. Now, as you're making money, just in a scalp mode, and just instead of babysitting the market. So I don't even want to look at the chart. The first time I ever woke up in the morning and said, God, first time I can just look at the dashboard and go, oh, I'll take some money. Oh, that's great, thank you. And just be like, okay, you know what? That's, oh, fuck, I didn't set the hotkey to that. So close all profits. well, you know how to get out. Now it seems like when I get out of that, I'll automatically get a new order come in. See, it just got a new order come in there because it's kind of always looking for a next opportunity, which is fine. If I'm sitting here with my finger on nothing but the take profit key like this, fuck, shit, I keep forgetting there's no. If I'm just like this all day, I'm a scalper. You're a scalper right off the bat. Be a scalper just in a very short time. How did you get in? I don't know. I'm using astrology. It just wouldn't matter. It simply wouldn't matter. So the same script on different time frames. One script is plenty to get you in and out of the market. So here, I'm like, okay, what's my target? To make $2? You're literally trading your equity. Just get out. Now, if the script was written well, you should be able to make money. Just skimming the market. That's just skimming the market. Anyways, this is I'll just make this a comment, this script the way it is. Now, I didn't name it properly. You might want to rename it. This is the only, I guess there was some better performing ones. Now the times on this are set to, starts to trade at 1 hour in, all the way to 32. Hopefully this is set right. Now it's set to a mini K for dramatic effect. On a $10,000 account, it doesn't look very, if you're going to rest percentage of your account, it doesn't look very impressive when you got a micro account, you're trading micro lots on $1 million account. People are like, and your point is like, oh, I only stretch that chart vertically for you. So here's 10K, the 8 pip trailing, pretty obvious. You can name this whatever you want. Down on the comment line is what's going to show up on the platform, so you can make this, say, 8 with a 12 to make 32, and then you compile that, and hopefully that's not going to crash the robots that are running. I haven't tested that yet, because that can really freak out a robot. I suppose it's like, oh wait, different instruction set, let me go rethink that. Oh, it's still smiling. Alright, so here we go. So we're taking some heat. As soon as this goes into profits, it'll start to and now another thing is that just the patience involved, it's like a patience contest. Can you wait for the thing to play out the trade plan? So it forces you to write a trade plan. Everybody talks about, trade plan, but you never see anybody say, okay, my trade plan is to buy a 1K with a 20 pip stop with a 40 pip take profit. That's a trade plan. That's it. The rest would be like strategy. Okay, well, should we get here, or should we get in there, or should we go over there? But in the end, it's always going to come down to stupid math. And all these robots are doing is looking at math. They're saying, okay, you spent too much time here, and I'm going to place a straddle barricade, and whichever way you go, that's fine. And after, back testing is always going to be different. If you have a really good broker, so you want to get a demo with a really huge broker that has a lot of ticks, and all those ticks, all that volume is just the people that are on that server. There is no global, there is not like the old days we used to get end of the day data and run stuff. It would be like, okay, this is the, when you download it on a, dial-up modem, and you look at your daily end of the day data and try to assess the market. And you could literally sit there and just plot out some trade plan that's just, I'm just going to get in here, what the fuck. And just, you're forced to swing trade the market on a daily basis, where here you can literally just sit down and scalp it. It's it's funny how you can just in the morning this market gets pretty rambunctious. Now this is set to a 1 minute chart here, so I'm getting fills on this yen, I think, because I'm set to such a tight time frame. I don't think anybody else is down there on that. That euro's from oh, I forgot to turn on the so they're charging me commissions, but I'm getting a really nice tight spread, I think. I didn't look at that. I turned the comments on and I could see the name of the system I'm running. So I can't say one day is going to be any better than the other day, because if you know what the so here it comes the next 2 hours, this thing could go berserk, and I set it on the most sensitive setting of this thing, so it's going to be like trigger happy, and that's going to be more of a, you're going to have to babysit a trigger happy baby, right? Because he's shooting his sister and stuff. Whereas if you set it where it's only going to trade during certain hour range, and it's going to look at a 15 period ATR, and it's only going to trade breakouts of a really long sluggish consolidation, and it's going to break out and it's going to be like boom, it just made money. I mean, I've been running it, I ran it for 8 hours of testing, and I ran it on a daily even, and the damn thing was making money. I went back, the very last test I did was last week. I actually ran a EA on the election data and made money on a 5-minute chart with a specific script. It was hilarious because, you know, the market went up, it went up like, let's see, 400 pips and down 400 pips, just like the inversion that you see on the Dow Jones. The complete auction played out in just quick. You know, the very end of the auction, when there's a pent-up demand and supply, and they both are fulfilled, everybody's right or everybody's wrong. You know, the price could end up unchanged, so you get this monster doji thing at the end of that whole drama. So I'm sure on the weekly or the monthly, you look back and you'd see this big wicked out thing. And so that's that kind of drama's out there. The 5-minute playback on that one broker. So I'm watching the equity, and this is only a 3-day test, and then I was able to do a 2-day test on a 1-minute chart. I couldn't do, the thing about, I noticed you cannot do, it seems you cannot do a back test on, like a high-speed back test, you can't do it on a bunch of data. There's a limitation on MetaTrader to be able to assess that much. If you go back 1 week, you can trade it on the 1-minute chart. So you can build a scalp bot just off of these things, or the trend one. I found a free trend bot that has 3 moving averages, and it tells you that one of them is a switch to get out. But I haven't, that one you have to look at the chart and assess that you want to counter trend, enter a trend. So you force the robot to invert what it normally would do, where it chases the market. Because it gets into the crossover, you just invert the trigger. Because I couldn't invert the orders, but I just, some robots crash when you tell it that the short moving average is actually longer. You know, so you have when it says long, you have a short moving average, and the math is incoherent to the thing, but I found one that let me invert it. And so that could work. But and maybe you put that on top of this one, but then you really have quite the brew of insanity if you got both. But maybe one counteracts the other one. If I did that, I'd use one instrument to just see what's going on, because if you throw too much in there, you're not sure what's really performing well. really hard to keep track of all those different systems. And I'm also trading bigger size on the smaller time frames in this other account. So that's built to be a scalp. Whereas if you trade the same size across multiple currency pairs, that's plenty of diversification. I wouldn't want to get over diversified where you got some crazy ass, like I was doing the last video, 80K on one. But that was when I was just starting out with building these things. I'd say I would just get to a point where if one account was doing well with that one scheme, I'd probably just let it go and build another account, because looking for the Holy Grail, if it's running, I'd say let that thing go. God damn it, let it just go. I mean, it's not killing the world, but you're not, like, if the only way you want to really be making a lot of money is if you're sitting there with your finger on the trigger, you're in big, you know, okay, this, I've seen this before. You got the robot maybe assisting you a little bit, and you're like, in, out, boom, bam, boom. Where the other one, you cannot look at that thing all the time. If it's churning away and it's making money on stupid breakouts, at the end of the day, if it's up, you get out everything and it's a winner, right? Or you just, every day is a winning day. Or when it loses, you know that it's got a limited loss. I can't imagine having just one trading account. I mean, severe anxiety attack when they cut off all the, when the Forex market was destroyed years ago. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Of course, I really thought it was a trick. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, really? You trade free data? What? We paid $40 a month for data when we were kids. I mean, if you were a trader, you were like people just assumed you were a broker. Like, what, you got a data feed? Now you got these people getting on Reuters and paying like, it's ungodly, you know? It's just ungodly. People paying for these services are cracking me up. Well, he's got the insight. He knows what the banks are doing. I'm like, dude, if you don't have a wide enough stop, you're never going to be able to be a fundamental trader. And fundamental trading, are you serious? Come on, be honest. I mean, what if the euro goes up now? People are going to say, well, but they said they were going to raise the interest rates, and you know, say, yeah, but come on. What about gold? It's going to like 3,000 an ounce. Yeah, I know. So you got to sell newspapers, right? You got to tune in for the drama. Anyways, I'm going to just put this in the thing. This is the one I'm running, the 8 trailing. I'm sorry, it's not that one. 8 trailing with a 12 pip stop to make 32. So it's kind of a greedy. This one's slightly different. This one's actually less greedy. I should probably be running that one. Just make 28 pips. I don't know if I'll make 32. But you can adjust this thing. I don't think it's gonna. When it's this time of day, you could get a 30. You could get a burst of 32 pips, especially across all these currency pairs. So if I wanted to scalp this, I would just say, okay, let's go 1 minute chart. See what happens. You can't do all this. You can't trade all these with the simulation. You just have to open a demo. So I'm taking in a bunch of trades here just because I went to the 1 minute chart. So now the robot's like, oh my god. See, now I would say, well, you're just sitting here waiting to take profits and wait. Let's see what it does and see how it does with that. But it's nice not to have to look at the damn charts. It's all about the time of day. We know there's always going to be an accumulation. At this time of day, there's always, this area here is going to be choppy. And if we're waiting for news, it's all going to get choppy, then it's going to get quiet, and then something's going to happen. But this whole chop factor here is, I guess, with the accumulation distribution phase. For the market rolls over to the next So I picked up some tickets there. If I go to the 5 minute, I could probably trigger this thing to trade. If it doesn't trigger on the 5, then I would just probably go make more coffee. I feel like it's like having an employee that you give them some coffee and you're like, gee, they're not working any faster. Okay, well maybe if I get out the thumb screws, right? Get out the other things to motivate them. Okay, so we're into this thing, and let's see what happens. It's on autopilot for the moment, for the time being. Now I could scalp out of this. I could take this $2. I could see all my winners. If I'm up $20, I'd probably scalp out top of the hour. Now last time I did this, I sat in the thing too long, and I only had one or two scripts running. I really didn't have much confidence in the way that was running. Here now, the British pound, Australian dollar is probably the worst in here, but see, it's not the biggest loser here is see, the pound and the euro are winning, and the Swiss franc. So these are actually this does make sense. You want to be short the Swiss franc and long the euro. So you can't disagree with the robot at this point. So the day's young. Plenty of time to lose. Plenty of... there should be some drama here at the top of the hour, though. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be nuts. So I'm just looking at the balances. And if you don't want it to trade too much, just stay away from the small time frames. I'm gonna put the small time frames on here, see what kind of action I can get. Everything's on the 5 now. So I'm filled on the 1. I got filled on some kind of crazy breakout scheme. And who knows, this thing might make money, right? Okay, now it got out of something, so it got back into something. I don't know if it made money on that. It happened so fast, didn't get a chance to see. I wasn't even keeping track of that, so I guess I'm down 32 bucks. Crazy. I would say you got to babysit the 5-minute chart. Look at it every 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And like anything, if you watch the playbacks of the testing a robot, you'll see that, yeah, it goes into a losing streak, which only means, just like the market, it's going to go back into a winning streak. And I think it's just a test in patience, really, because you're like, oh God, should I let the robot take over the steering wheel? I mean, they got these automated cars now, and I'm totally never going to buy an automated car because I like driving. I like trading too, but this is like what I'm doing here is driving like 10 cars. I can't drive 10 cars at once. Like, I can't run 20 strategies at once, but you need to, because this whole thing of relying on these magical setups that just never come, it's just ridiculous. But the trend, I'm going to run this trend system today. It's called X3 trend. And I'm just gonna work on it live. So the market's open. I would never backtest a robot unless the market was closed, because when that's open, I would just get the robot out, open a demo, and just run the fucking thing. Put up a chart and see how it thinks. Change the settings. Try to get it to, and then when you get the settings you like, I think if you save it as a template, it's going to save those settings. Otherwise, you can save them in some settings folder, some settings file. But it certainly takes the load off. I mean, I could go down the street and get hammered and come back and be like, oh my God, this robot's... Or something happens, the power goes out. Don't you want to be trading? Oh, the power goes out, these things stop trading. But if you had it on a cloud, and if it only trades for an hour a day even, because I don't know, maybe for this breakout system, it really has to look at the whole span of data, and then you just put an ATR filter on it. Just keep on increasing the size of the ATR this way. You can't take advantage of a dramatic breakout. Whereas if it's only going to come in for a certain amount of time a day, maybe that's a 15-minute chart where it just trades a psychotic move for a short period of time. So it's gonna be crazy, especially see how it performs on the news. I think maybe you have to have a profile or a template, and you could load a news profile. You could save, I think, all these EAs on one setup and say, okay, well, I know that this is going to be some news system. Everything in there is written to accommodate the news, and you load that profile, or you have a news broker, a broker that just trades the news. Maybe he's trading smaller size over a wider span of price. But just to have all these little franchises of robots running seems to be like the ticket, and like a stop clock. It's going to be right and it's going to be wrong, and it is trading. You're just trading time exposure here. If it makes money, it gets out of something. There's definitely times when this thing's it just made $200, and I can kind of sense that I should get out. If I'm up like $100 today, if I'm babysitting the robot and I'm up 100, I'm gonna get out, because it's gonna get right back in. It's gonna look for another opportunity, which I would never have the flexibility to do that. I don't know any human that could manage all of these tickets with some type of scrutiny, saying, I don't know, is that a good decision? Making decisions like that would just be ridiculous. It's just not even necessary anymore, because the robots are taking over. Robots is going to be making your goddamn. They got robots. Well, they say it's robotic surgery, but really it's just robot assisted. The robot's you're going to say go here, and the robot's going to go okay, without killing the patient. But yeah, robots are here. It's unbelievable. So here comes the top of the hour, and not even near my take profits, but these trailing stops, I don't know if they scooched up. I know they come up within 10 pips. They start to shine red. So maybe we're not near that yet, but it's going to limit my losses, that's for sure. So we got, and Monday morning, last night I could have made money. I didn't have this running. I just got it running. And this one I'm going to have to pay attention to the platform time and notice when the robot is looking at the market, when it's not, when it's trying to help me. Like the automatic car. They smash those up. There's always going to be people getting killed in these automatic cars because they wrote the car to another example of they made the car drive and actually obey the law. So people are rear-ending the automatic cars because they're driving the way you're supposed to drive. And this is the way people write these trend bots. They're like, well, the market should cross over and then see it's an open. They look on the chart. They go, yeah, it looks like a good trade. The only problem is not too tight a stop or something. But if you get in on the reversals, if you build it in a reversal way, then it's going to be funnier now, because you would just be like, oh, look at it, I made money on going the wrong way there. Okay, here's the top of the hour. So I'm tempted to just bail on this money right here. I keep hitting that. So I'm just going to get out of all my winners right here and see if the robot comes up with a new trade. I kind of missed my exit there. So that was the top of the hour scalp, and damn, I'm so used to hitting this. I didn't bring the hotkeys over. So what I do is here I say set hotkey. It happens to be Control O. So what happens is I just hit a hotkey now for that. Or you hold down Control and hit Z. I had a Control P for profit before. It made sense. Control P was profit. But now it's just a one finger button because I don't want to do that, hold down the control thing. It's crazy. Okay, see, it just got me back into more trades there. Top of the hour. And now I got the hotkey, I can scalp out. It's not running. Doesn't seem to like my setting I put on that. It's supposed to be Control. Oh well. Oh right, that's the delete all objects key. Here it is. No, that's right. So so now I'm down 28, so that's why I get out there. I just took on new positions. So if I was to let it go through all its stuff, I guess I don't, on the 5-minute chart, I really wouldn't want to maybe take those trades. Because it's getting in, so it's trading at such a high frequency that you have to treat it as a scalping system because it's getting crazy big here. And if this is real money, I mean, you're down on the day, you're down $40 right now. So the next 5 minutes, you could be up 50. You'd have to take that off. You know, if you could build the account up today and really build it like a scalper. So I could just say, oh, okay, I'll just take that off. I don't want to be in that big. These could be winners later, but I just reduced my exposure. So it's not always about, or you could just close all open pennies, but then you would say, well, what if these turn out to be winners, right? That's without even looking at the charts. If you make a financial decision here, now people would say, well, you got to look at your trade plan. You picked out that fucked up batwing pattern, and now you're going to trade your plan. You said that this is the 2618, and you're going to 2618 trader, and you're like, oh boy, and you're in some 58K, and you're like, yeah, I've made money on this trade before. And you're just shitting your pants, you know. I just could never do that. I did it, and I never shit my pants. Unfortunately, I blew the account up, but I just the overall stress of continually losing, you almost feel like a loser. So this is a stress. I'd just rather not. So I just go to pure. So I'm on the 5s here. I gotta be on it. I can just stretch this out and just be like, you know what? I don't care. It's just all about money. So what if this is the back office and you're like, okay, this guy seems to have, like, we have a new employee. Looks like he's winning, but he's up about $1,000 in 40 seconds. I think I'm going to take him out of this trade. And so you own a prop house, and I got this new guy here. He came in with a bunch of, he had like a compass, and he had like a azimuth tool, and you know, he can draw a rectangle like you've never seen this guy. We got this new trader. Oh, you should see this guy draw stuff. I'm talking, he's like 40 colors. Well, when you see his bat on top of a cipher, you're just going to be like, dude, you're hired. I don't even care if you lose money. Look at these charts. Look at these charts. This guy's a genius. What a visionary. Okay, Euro's going up. I agree with my robot on this one. I don't know what this thing's doing here. Anyways, I'm not saying this is. I'm not saying this is a. You have to better than waste $29 on a monthly subscription. I would never trade a robot in this. It just happens to be that, like I said, for dramatic effect, because you being a 3K right now, that's plenty, because in the next 40 seconds, you could be in 100K. I don't know how heavy this thing's going to trade, but never think that you're not in big enough. So you just got in. There you go. So there's plenty of risk out there, plenty of volatility. Should be a hoot. Now it's down $50 already. I'm just gonna let it go. See how much punishment it can take today.